Hello, folks. As we slowly roll in numbers, I'm just setting us live on our Facebook stream, and we'll just give us 30 seconds before we kick things off. Okay, we're now recording and on live stream, so I think we can kick things off. So hello and welcome everyone to our second town hall on Zoom, which is fantastic and exciting and very visual this week, for sure. So just a reminder to everyone that these sessions are recorded and we will be uploading them to YouTube. Pierre, if you want to just skip along to the next slide, if that's possible. As usual, we'll kick things off with some company and product updates before we move into Q&A from the audience. As always, please use the Q&A function built into chat at the bottom in order to type out your questions. You can also, when the time comes, raise your hand and we will invite you to speak when we get to that part of the town hall. And just before we kick things off, I just want to call out quickly two other events that we have coming up in the next week. So next Tuesday, we have a new event called Hospitable Buddies with our own Tanai and Ethan. This is really kind of a community-focused event that's focused on making sure that everyone's getting the most out of new features with Hospitable and also taking some extra time to answer questions from the audience. You know, if we don't get you a question answered today, that's a great opportunity to jump on with a couple of support staff to get those questions answered. That's going to be on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. I'll drop a link to the registration in a second. And then on Thursday next week at 11 a.m. Pacific time, we have another Hospitable Masterclass. And that's going to be on how to build credibility with Chris Moen. And I think that's going to be another great learning opportunity there for many of our hosts that are looking to do direct bookings. So without further ado, I'm going to drop those links into the chat and hand things over to our CEO and founder, Pierre.
Yeah, the CEO and founder, we decided very much at the last minute, hey, why not do a presentation? So obviously everybody's a bit hijacked by this. So the first thing I want to touch on is support, and obviously there is no disappointment. Alexa, and you were asking, for example, would there be any updates to response time? I had a major calendar blocking last week and didn't hear from anyone for 3 days. That is very concerning. And indeed, that is not something that we're happy with at all in our situation. So I just wanted to take a bit of time to reflect on what's happening, what's the reality of the situation, and what steps we're doing, obviously, to solve this in relation with support teams. So first things, basically, we're operating with limited resources, as 2 people have left the company in January, and 2 more people have been leaving the company in February as a result of fundamentally burnout issues. As a result, the current team is currently very restricted to just 7 people, and there is after this weekend basically a 2 to 3 days turnaround time for first touches. So that means it will take our current support team 2 to 3 days to go to the backlog of customer support requests and be able to address new tickets from 2 to 3 days ago. And obviously that is absolutely embarrassing for us as a company. We obviously didn't wait for the situation to happen right now to take action. We decided to recruit more people to join our support team since early February, and I've been updating you on that first thing on every tunnel every 2 weeks since. So we have some good news, but it's going to take time for you as a customer to be seeing the impact of those good news. Yesterday, 2 new people have been joining our team. You have Burns and Jake, and they will be specifically working on those first touches. So really paying our debt in a way in terms of reaching out to the backlog and ensuring we have all the information available so that we can investigate your issues properly and guide you to the best resources to solve any problems or answer any questions you might have. They will be working Pacific time, and they are now basically getting onboarded onto our product. They will be eating our support queue next week. So there is a shadowing process where, first of all, they will be working with senior team members in our support team, and progressively we'll be removing the little wheels on the side for them to be more independent and interact directly with customers. That's not the end of it. We also have scheduled 2 new offers for people to join our US teams. And we also have late-stage interviews for another, at least one hire for our APAC team. So this time based from Australia to APAC is pretty big. Recruiting obviously has been taking quite a lot of time, and I want to thank obviously everyone in the team that's been contributing to it. Those are customer support people themselves that are taking time off the queue to be able to do those final interviews. That's the case for Jen, who they're with us today, this morning, tonight, wherever you are in the world. That's also the case for Alisa. That's also the case for Shifra. Andrew was also there as well. So basically, it's been an all team effort to be able to recruit more people. Now, we have recruited, nonetheless, a global talent partner, a recruiter, to help us execute more those recruitments and ensure that they're onboarded in a nice fashion. That will be the case for support roles, but also for engineering roles later for a 3 months mission with us. So this is a very significant effort for us, because the reality is that our objective is to move our current support team from 7 people to 14 people. We believe that a team of 14 people will be the right size to serve our customers, with a split of responsibilities between first touches, so returning back to a genuine and authentic live chat experience with a human being that can diagnose and qualify your problems very quickly with a bit of experience, and then escalating, if necessary, the matter to a more technical support person that has a deep understanding of our product and can solve your issues with minimum input on your side. So I want to thank you for your patience, and I want to apologize again for the delays that you're experiencing in reaching out to a customer support team. Please send them hugs, send them little purple hearts. They need it. It's really tough. And obviously they are not happy about the situation at all, and they are all looking forward to returning to a live chat experience where they can have a bit more latitude to send gifs of cats and memes to our customers, basically making everyone a lot happier. That's something that's working in progress, and I will be reporting on that obviously in the next 2 weeks, hopefully with at least 2 more people joining our teams in the next 2 weeks. So on to happier news that actually are causing an increase in the support load. ChatGPT, and I'm sorry for that, the support team. I never anticipated that. Nonetheless, so we're releasing a new feature that is currently in a private pilot stage. You can see this little demo from the developer account, from the developer that actually developed that feature himself. His name is Costin, and he's really an all-star. He's the one solving a lot of bugs and developing sometimes new features like this one. So we're integrating with ChatGPT so that you can generate a draft reply for the last message of your guest. And on any subject without any training, we just send ChatGPT the context of your listings, for example, a summary, descriptions, the context of the reservation, like the check-in time, the checkout time, obviously all the guest messages and the host messages that have been exchanged up until that time. And with all that context, we give ChatGPT a chance to generate a reply. You can hit that button if you are part of the private pilot, and that will basically generate a reply. If you're unhappy with that message, you can actually keep on hitting that magic one button, and it will generate a new reply, a new message for you until something works, or you can basically adjust the message accordingly. We've added 160 people in the past hours, and we decided that that's a big enough sample for us now to generate good quality feedback. We'll be monitoring this release. There are already some minor issues that have been escalated on our side. We'll be also receiving feedback, and if you are part of the ChatGPT private pilot, we'll be sending you a survey that you will need to complete to keep on having access to that feature. And we are going to be looking at improving it a little bit before there is a general release of that feature. So there is a form that is circulating online on our Twitter account. I invite you to fill into that form so that you can join now our waitlist, as we are going to be progressively releasing that feature. We will be adding more people to that private pilot later. Now we always wanted to be an AR first product in reflecting the latest state of the technology and to the benefit of short-term mental host. And that basically is the best technology that exists to give you back time as a short-term rental host to be able to really take advantage of the financial freedom that hosting an Airbnb gives you. There are a few features that we discuss internally. Some are almost implemented, some are not ready to be there quite yet. But there are some features that we would like to release in coming weeks and coming months as we have capacity and moving away from bugs to develop those new features. One of those that would be particularly interesting to larger property managers that have to work on prioritizing conversations is sentiment analysis on conversations. We are able today to highlight conversations that are probably turning a bit more sour with more problematic guests, where you receive complaints from your guests, and obviously making sure that those conversations receive a lot more attention, a lot faster compared to other conversations with guests that, for example, are already singing your praises. We also want to support more questions. That was something that we asked from you in the past 10 halls, I believe, really to ask you for examples of questions that you would like for us to automate in addition to the question that we already have, such as discount, early check-in, and late checkout. Those are questions that we will be detecting, classifying, and then responding automatically. So unlike ChatGPT, where there's always going to be a need for a manual control and manual validation, those are cases where we are more confident about the classification, and you can generate a reply for that specific question. We're also experiencing that feature for generating messages for every guest, for every message. We'll be also working later into generating draft reviews for those problematic guests, for those negative experiences that you may be having as a host, so as to generate those fair, factual reviews, which I believe are the hardest to write. And later, obviously, as a messaging automation product, we want to also help you generate messaging rules that are going to be appropriate in terms of tone, in terms of content, and working with GPT and other AI products to be able to generate messaging rules that are going to be working with limited user prompts, so that we can help you create more check-in instructions, for example, with limited information, limited input on your side. So that I cannot answer on when that's going to be released. This is not the appropriate time to discuss that. What I would like to hear from you at this point, especially in the chat, is really what you would like to do, what you would like to receive in terms of AI-driven features, in terms of listing descriptions. We're receiving obviously a lot of information from ChatGPT private pilot users on how they're using GPT-type products to improve their short-term rental business. And yeah, last update, and I know it's basically a bit of a roller coaster. Just a few hours ago, a few minutes ago almost, we've actually passed the 10,000 customers mark. It's a bit bitter and sour, considering obviously that we have those issues now responding to our customers, and all 10,000 of them. But nonetheless, I kind of want to say that it's been quite a success, and since it's on Zoom, I can share with you what our growth has been looking like in the past few months, as we have been growing basically our customer base 95% in the year 2022. And now we're already on a good track to basically still outpace that kind of growth on our own product. So we're getting back to you, chatting with you, with real humans, and maybe sometimes with ChatGPT for ourselves, provided that is basically helpful, obviously, to every single one of you. Thank you very much. And now I'm going with Andrew. Is that Andrew?
Sure, why not?
Sorry, Derek in the chat is asking, is 10,000 active customers? Yeah, those are 10,000 active customers that we've invoiced in the past month. How many properties? That represents 45,000 invoiced properties on a single month. That represents 65,000 live properties, so that are available for bookings. And I'm computing the numbers for the first quarter of 2023 so far, but that represents $420 million in booking value for the past quarter of 2022. Sorry, Andrew. Derek has a question, and it was not on stage for the past panel. So
No, that's a nice segue to talk numbers to direct, which is obviously going to be driving a lot of our growth going forward. So yeah, I'm going to update you guys on the state of the direct pilot, and then I'm going to pass off to Emily like we've done previously for the rest of the product updates, since I get enough time on air here with direct. So current state of the direct pilot, I just added 31 users, Casey, to the direct premium pilot before this town hall. There's only a couple things that are holding us back from pushing this into beta access. So anyone with a hospitable beta flag, so if you've added yourself to the beta program, you would have access to direct premium very soon. So we're doing two things. One, we need to make it possible for you to onboard and offboard direct on your own. So that means, okay, you can put yourself into what is no longer a pilot. You can choose direct premium, direct basic. We've shared the links so you can understand those better. We're going to make that self-serve, and you can also exit self-serve. So if you decide that's not for you, you can pull yourself out of direct and not be charged for anything. That's in progress. We're almost done. I think as of the end of today, we're pretty much done. So we're going to be testing tomorrow. If that's all going, the next week, we might have good news for you that everyone in beta can now onboard themselves to direct. Taxes is another thing. We got this wrong initially. We were told by all of the people we consulted before going live with direct that sales tax is not something we need to be worried about because we're a new marketplace. It turns out that you had the liability in that case. So that's something that we really shout out to all of the direct pilot users that have been giving us feedback. That was a big learning lesson for us. So we've been going through talking to the Department of Revenue in various states and getting a better position on that. So that is still a work in progress, almost done. And we're getting a better position where we're going to collect that sales tax that you are liable for, pass that through to you until we have a chance to register ourselves as a new marketplace and file and remit and provide an even better service for you on taxes. Those are the couple of things that are blocking us. Everything else is going pretty well. We're seeing a lot of bookings. People seem to be very happy in the pilot. They're saving a lot of money. Again, we did price comparisons that we talked about in our product newsletter in the previous town hall. 14 to 16% cheaper on Airbnb for direct premium, up to 45% cheaper over booking.com compared to direct premium on some bookings. So we are going to save you money. Otherwise, the things we've been working on, we debugged an issue that we had told our pilot users about. Anyone that's on direct, there was an issue where you had to scope your message rules for all hosts for it to work. That didn't make any sense. We fixed that, made that make a lot more sense. You just scope message rules now to direct, and that's all you need to do. Whatever properties you want to use for these messaging rules, they're going to work now. So that got fixed. We also have some site improvements that we've done and that we're working on. Some of those are in progress. We've gotten great feedback from pilot users on those. We're going to keep improving those site templates. Otherwise, we pushed markup rates for direct. So that was another pilot learning. People wanted to either make their payouts richer by taking taking less of that discount, giving less of that discount to the guest and putting more of that in the payout, or vice versa. They wanted to even be more competitive for the price that's presented to the guest by using a negative markup rate. What else? We improved calendar visibility. We added a third status for dates on the calendar. So we didn't have a partial availability status before. We did that. It makes it a lot easier to just kind of glance at your calendar and know which dates are available for booking. Previously, you had to actually select your check-in date before you could see what is partial available, what can I stay through, what is checkout only, et cetera. So that looks a lot better. We also cleaned up the taxes in the quote. So when you select a check-in, checkout date, we prepare a quote. Right now, we're just showing one line for taxes, and then you can expand if the guest wants to see exactly what taxes we are collecting. Coming up in the pipeline, cancellation policies. We only have one cancellation policy right now. It's a non-refundable booking. That's not great for making guests feel comfortable booking. So we're going to give you options. I know we've been talking about that for a little while, but it keeps getting pushed back by other things. We are working on that. Direct premium is coming to Australia soon. Right now, we're only available for US properties. We are in talks with our payment service provider to get in. They're opening up the product we use for direct premium for Australia very, very soon. So we're hopefully weeks away from being able to support Australia properties as well. And as of about 30 minutes ago, we were connected with the Google Vacation Rentals team. So we are going to be scheduling meetings with them and start looking about what a partnership looks like for Direct and Google Vacation Rentals. I know that's something that a lot of you all have been flagging in town halls and in emails. And finally, upcoming split pay. So it's very clear, no-brainer for us to add, where you'll be able to add, those of you that are property managers can very easily add your property owner's bank accounts to your account and set up whatever payout rule you want, 80-20 split, and it will automatically send it to the right account. So that's what's coming from Direct. Again, I hope to have good news for you next week that this is now available in beta. A few things need to go right, and that should be able to happen. And then everybody who is a Hospitable beta user can go ahead and get started on Direct. Emily.
All right, thanks, Andrew. Okay, so I'm going to talk about some other things that we've recently released in production and then some things that are coming up in beta. So first, a quick one. We are now tracking when we fail to send an SMS to a teammate and displaying that in your operations log. We're just going to monitor that for a couple of weeks. If everything's working as expected, we're going to figure out the best way to notify you that that text message has failed. So like if you're trying to tell a cleaner that you have a new reservation, we'll maybe send you a text, maybe send you an email, whatever that looks like. But right now we're just monitoring that to make sure everything is a go. Next, we've just partnered with Turno. We're super excited about this. We're giving our customers free access to Turno. So Turno is the smart way to find, schedule, and pay vacation rental cleaners automatically. So if you already use Turno and have it integrated with Hospitable, you don't have to do anything. From this point forward, your subscription fee to Turno is going to be waived. If you don't use Turno yet and you want to check it out, log into your Hospitable account, click on apps, and select Turno to start that process. With that integration, anytime you get a reservation, it's automatically going to schedule cleaners, automatically pay the cleaners. It's really awesome. Really just streamline your operations there. So we're super excited about that partnership, and it's just one of the ways that we're working towards our vision to make it trivial to operate a short-term rental. You can save a lot of time there and spend that saved time elsewhere. Next, let's talk a little bit about smart locks. So we have improved the way that we provision codes for our August and Yale integrations. So previously, the way we did this was we would provision an always on code right before the check-in, which made things a little bit dicey because the code wasn't there until right when we needed it. Now we're actually going to provision those codes 3 days before the check-in. It's going to be deployed to the lock and only become active right before the check-in, plus whatever configured buffer you have enabled. That's already how it works for our Schlage integration. We provision it right when the reservation is confirmed for Schlage. For August and Yale, we provision it 3 days in advance. For all of our Smart Things integrations, we don't have the ability to do that yet because of the way that we're integrating with Smart Things, but it is something that our integration partner is working towards. So whenever they make that available to us, we'll also add that as an improvement to any of the locks that you have configured through a Smart Things integration. Speaking of smart locks, we are probably today, maybe tomorrow, going to be releasing something in beta called, I got distracted, sorry, my kid walked in. We are going to be releasing backup codes for our smart locks, which we're super excited about. The past couple of weeks, we've really seen a reduced error rate in our smart locks, less than 2%, which is really exciting. We're working to get the health of our smart lock integrations in a really good place. These backup codes are only going to make that better. So basically the way this is going to work, when you have a new smart lock connected, we're going to be provisioning 2 backup codes per property. Those backup codes are going to be provisioned and deployed to the lock. Those codes are not specific to a reservation. They're going to live on the lock for use in emergency situation. We're always checking these locks to make sure the codes are provisioned. And if an hour before check-in plus the buffer, we either see that the code has failed to provision for the guest or we're otherwise unable to check, we are then going to notify the guest that they can use this backup code instead. So if it's an Airbnb or Vrbo reservation, we're going to send them a message through Airbnb or Vrbo messaging. If it's booking.com, manual booking, or direct booking, we will send the guest a text or an email with that backup code. Once that backup code has been shared with the guest, they can use it for the duration of their stay, and then we're going to delete it provision a new backup code for that specific lock. So we'll always have 2 that are ready to use in case of emergency. You'll also be able to customize the message that goes out to your guests when they receive a backup code in your smart lock settings. So just go to settings, preferences, smart locks, and you can customize that message. Again, we're releasing this to our beta users today or tomorrow. So it's not there right now. A little notification will come your way when you log into Hospitable when it is available to you. We plan to keep this in beta a short time, really just a small number of weeks. We're just going to make sure it's all working as expected before we release it to our wider group of users. And let's see, I think those are all the things I want to highlight. Pierre mentioned all the great AI things we're working towards. We also have a lot of other stuff queued up in the product that we'll be building soon that we've already talked about, like improved metrics, improved inbox. Those are our main focuses. So keep the feedback coming, the ideas. You guys have been awesome at giving us some great ideas for ways we can improve the product. So we do listen to that. Post it in chat. Any ideas you have, reach out to us, schedule an office hours, and we'd love to hear what you think. Miles?
Cool. Thank you very much, Emily. So we don't actually have any questions in our Q&A yet. So folks, feel free to use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. You can type out your questions in there. If you do want to come on stage, you can also use the raise hand button. If you raise your hand, we can pick you out to talk. And just like that, Tommy has jumped on the chance. So Tommy, I'm going to invite you on stage to talk. Let us know if you can speak okay.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
All right, awesome. Well, great town hall meeting. All the updates, I love them. Honestly, the feeling I got was I want to go out and acquire more properties. So that is definitely a testament to how well your software is working and how much confidence it gives me in my operations. So I appreciate it. You guys are doing awesome.
Okay, what's your question? How can we help you?
My question.
How can we help you acquire more properties? I mean, we're going to be. We've been talking about a financing product, but we're nowhere near ready to talk about that yet. So how can we help you?
So the only question that I have is around Turno. So I currently am connected with Turno already. I have been for some time, and I do not currently pay a subscription to Turno. I never have. I have the option where I'm only working with marketplace cleaners, which my understanding, it basically just adds some additional fees on my end and the cleaning person's end. So if I were to now switch over to the subscription model, is that fine? And will that work out? I think that works out to where there's less fees paid. I don't know how well versed you guys are in kind of how they're charging.
Yeah, so that's a question for Turno. I can provide some background on basically what we've heard from the Turno team and what the partnership is all about. It's from what I understand, and for what the deal is really Turno is waiving subscription fees on the SaaS part of their product. So the part that apparently you're not paying anyway. So congrats on you. And that will be the case for any new customers of Turno, active or already customers of Turno, provided that they integrate with their Hospitable on the Hospitable API. So if you add an Hospitable API keys to retrieve your properties and reservation, basically Turno will be waiving their fees for their SaaS product. For the marketplace part, however, that's not impacted. That's actually, if I can, we're all business owners here. That's kind of the strategy that Turno is following, is basically getting you on the SaaS products and I think that's a very smart one. Getting you on a smart product where you can manage your team and pay your team directly from Turno and get access to all those operational features. And then when you need to basically look for another cleaner, get access to their marketplace where they can then charge their own fees for that marketplace. But all the SaaS fee is waived for all customers of Hospitable, whether they're going to be new customers of Turno or are already customers of Turno.
All right, no, that's definitely helpful. I'll reach out to Turno and just talk more detail about that. So thank you.
Welcome. Thank you, Tommy. That was an easy one. Miles.
Great. Thank you very much, Tommy. Okay, so we don't have anyone else with a hand raised just yet. We do have Q&A from Derek. He's asking about an integration with cleanster.com. Sounds like Cleanster integrates with us, but we're not really promoting it on our side. Just asking why that is the case, I guess.
I think if we don't know about it, or if we've not been in the loop for it, Derek, I know you're the co-founder. Let's get in chat. You can contact Miles, and basically we'll provide you a partner toolkit that has been working on for the past few days, and basically make sure that you're going to be advertised on our own little marketplace. We want to understand basically how we can help also in terms of scope of integration and what we can help in particular to allow you to connect, to expand your reach. So I think you can reach out to Miles, marketing@hospitable.com, and you may have a surprise message as well from Emily for another unrelated product, Derek, to be able to help you increase your scope. But yeah, there is no problem. We're happy to basically work with everyone in the industry.
Great, thank you, PC. So now we have Vinroy with a raised hand. So Vinroy, going to invite you to speak.
Hello, Vinroy. How are you doing?
Hi, are you hearing me?
Perfectly fine.
Perfect. I got a question. I'm having difficulty reading the text on the mobile device in Hospitable. It's very pale. Like I really have to it just seemed like it needs to be bolder, or because I find myself going to Airbnb or VRBO to respond to the guests into the Hospitable because I can't read the text because it's so pale. I don't know if you compare it to say Airbnb and VRBO, you could see the difference in the boldness of the text. So you could hardly read it some of the times. I'm like, wow, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I don't think we've done a proper accessibility study on our product, particularly mobile. I think we have a lot of room to improve, and that is something that we're looking at doing. But thanks for pointing that out. And we'll try and get to that. See if we can make some easy improvements. Ben's on the call. He's kind of in charge of mobile for. Yeah,
that's one
accurate.
way of throwing out potato.
Yeah. What a label.
I love the.
I'd love to know what phone are you using? We've definitely spotted some things, but just for some background info.
I'm on an iPhone. I'm on an iPhone.
Okay, cool. Same as me. So I'll take a look. I know we did find a few months ago some text that was a lot lighter than we want it to be in the inbox. I think it was the sort of sent timestamps, but like Andrew said, there's a bunch of stuff we want to do on mobile.
It'd be great. In the inbox is very pale. But if you guys can improve that'd be great, because I'd prefer to respond on your platform than the other one, because I love the platform. It's really a good system you guys have going. So if I don't have to leave your platform, that'd be great.
Yeah, we're aligned on that. So thank you for the feedback. And Ben and I will definitely take a look at that. Thank you, Roy.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Roy. I've shared the same thing earlier in a meeting today about the size of the text and then the contrast in the size, the color of the text. So basically different shades of gray, text in a darker gray over a background of gray and being small. So it makes me feel like this text should not be there if you don't want anyone to read it.
Everything in Raspberry. Got it.
Everything is Raspberry. Oh my God. Panic attack everywhere. Thank you. And Donado is approving some of the text is very pale. So yeah, we can improve that over time. Do we have anyone else?
We do indeed.
Oh, we do have plenty of people that have been
they're lining up.
See that.
So Thabo, I believe, is next. Apologies if I've pronounced that incorrectly. I'm just inviting you to speak.
Thanks. It's Thabo.
Sorry.
So we are having some challenges in terms of customizing messages. So if we have an automated check-in message that we want to customize for multiple properties, we pretty much have to send a standard message for each property. We can't have Wi-Fi details, for example, adjusted on the basis of property 1, versus property 2, which has got different details. Is there a setting that we're just missing that allows for us to be able to customize those messages? Or is this a functionality that's limited and perhaps in the roadmap is potentially going to be addressed?
Yeah, happy to help. There is actually multiple ways to go about that. So good answer is yes, it's all there. There are some short codes that you can automatically use that'll pull in information like Wi-Fi from your lead platforms, like Airbnb, for example. And I can, or someone can post that in the chat here quickly. We have an article that'll link to all the kind of short codes you have available. But if there's specific content that is really unique to the property and it's not something we can dynamically pull in from Airbnb, you could actually create custom codes. And let's say, for example, maybe there's parking, there's like accessibility, like there's parking for different properties and they're all slightly different. You could create a custom code called parking, create 10 different custom codes, all named parking. They're going to be scoped to 10 different properties and you'll have a unique instruction for each property. You can then throw that custom code in your one messaging rule you have, and then we'll actually display the right content based on that code for that property.
Okay, cool. So that's really helpful. Thanks. We'll check that out.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll throw some articles that'll help walk you through that too.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, Emily has actually just shared in the chat a help article that will help you on that. So thank you very much for your question there. So now I'm going to invite Caleb on stage. Caleb. Hey there.
Hello, Caleb.
Hey. Yep.
How are you doing today?
Great. How are you?
Doing fine so far. Doing fine so far.
Good. So I had a question about Schlage, but I actually had the same kind of issue with the guy before with the on mobile. It's kind of light. You can actually change the iOS settings to bold font. It's universal across the iPhone, but I found that to work pretty well with Hospitable for the mobile. So kind of a workaround there. But my question is, so I have a couple properties with you guys, a new user. I've linked up Schlage encode. The first property lock actually came in, no problem. But when I've added a second property, it doesn't automatically refresh. I don't know if it's something on my end that I'm just a user error, or is there like a refresh button to where it automatically pulls in the new locks on the Schlage app?
So yeah, Jen, you want to pick this one? I'm gonna let you pick this one. You have the latest news, I'm sure.
Yeah, Gleb, I also just shot you a message privately. We should automatically be pulling in new locks. It can take up to 24 hours. So if you're not seeing it and you added it 24 hours ago, if you can go into your Schlage app, click on the app itself, and then go to information, that'll show us a page with like the serial number and all of that. If you can shoot that to us, then we can look in our database and see what's going on if we're not pulling that specific lock in for some reason, but we should be.
Okay, yeah, it's been 3 days. I started a message on the app with those info, with that Schlage info. So yeah, I just didn't know if there was anything else I was doing on my end incorrectly.
Okay, yeah,
okay,
I'll take a look.
I see the message.
Yeah, shoot that. Perfect. Yep, send that to us. I'll take a look out for that later today too.
Awesome, thanks. Love the platform so far.
Great, appreciate it, Caleb. Thank you very much. So moving on now to Yash. Invite you on stage now, Yash.
Hey everyone, can you guys hear me?
We can indeed.
Awesome. So I had 2 questions. The first one was regarding the backup codes for the locks. I may have missed this, but was that specific to certain brands of locks, or was it across all the brands as well as SmartThings?
The backup codes will be across all brands of locks. There are some of those small details that I mentioned that differ across the locks, but the backup codes is consistent for all locks.
So just to make sure I'm understanding this, if I get a message that the lock didn't sync up, the code didn't sync up properly, you guys will be sending the updated code to the guest, or the backup code?
When this is live for you, yes. We're releasing it to our beta users today or tomorrow, so I don't want you to expect that to happen now. But yes, that is the expectation, that if we check an hour before check-in and we don't see the code on the lock, that's when we'll send the backup code.
Okay, sounds good. Makes sense. And then the second question was regarding something you had mentioned on booking.com reservations and how you send an email to the guest. So the way I've previously seen it happen on booking.com is anytime I send them a message or anything, it goes through booking.com's messaging platform as well. So has that process changed? Like, are you moving over to email? Or is it just for the email, the codes?
Yeah, sorry, repeat that for, you were saying messaging you're sending on Hospitable, you are not seeing on booking.com?
No. So the way I've been messaging my guests, it's through Hospitable, but it goes via the bookings.com messaging platform. But you had mentioned on the call today how you'd be sending these codes via email. So I was just wondering,
Got it.
all communication sent through email or just for the code?
Got it. I think we just may have said email, but it'll go through the same way that messages do now. So we wouldn't be doing anything.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Thank you. But yeah, love the platform and love these town halls. Actually, love getting the updates and hearing what's to come. So thank you, everyone.
Cool. Thank you very much, Yash. So now moving on to Derek. And Derek, just inviting you on stage.
Hello, Derek. It's been a long time. How are you doing?
Hello, doing well, PC. Good to talk to you. I had a question that was answered just a moment ago, so I guess I'll just give a shout out to the team. I think it was like this point last year, you guys were talking about direct. I know there was a ton of pressure to just like get something out. I think, at least from an outsider's perspective, it seems like you guys made the decision to like take a step back and do it right. Like everything you guys are talking about, like with like the cancellation policy, like I'm actively bringing, this is my part-time job, and I'm actively bringing on like more co-host properties and other things because I can see myself being able to do it, especially with direct. So I just think it was the right decision, at least for my, and I know there was a lot of pressure, I think, to like deliver it. So happy that it's coming out, and just kudos to the team. I think it's going to be a game changer for us and help us. It's been a little bit slower the last like couple months. So I think the direct bookings is timely too. Like I'm excited to kind of get back into that as well. So just kudos to the team. Thank you.
Thanks, Derek. Yeah, and kudos, I guess, to our customers who have been patient for us while we've been doing this. And yeah, that was our thinking. We have two product lines. We have Direct Basic and Direct Premium. Basic has been it's been in private pilot for a long time. It's been ready. That was not difficult for us, but Premium, like we really are a hybrid between an OTA and that Direct Basic option, which if you look at your options as a host, there are a lot of Direct Basic options out there from competitors. Taking the hybrid approach means, solving the taxes, solving the risk, solving the guest vetting, solving the damage protection, getting the cancellation policies right when Hospitable is the merchant of record and has liability as well. It was a much more difficult question, but we thought it was an important product to be on the market because it really does kind of go middle of the road. We're not going to charge you for expensive marketing campaigns that we run. We know that you have your own customers, you run your own CRM, you generate your own business, and you don't want to pay for that on everything. But there are things that are important to you that an OTA does, like guest vetting, like insurance and things like that. And you also want to have control. So for all those reasons, we took the long way and we're almost there. We're almost there.
Well,
So I want to say, obviously Andrew is giving a shout out to our customers, rightly so, for being patient. I want to give a shout to Andrew because actually, the momentum on Direct has been very coincidental to him joining the team and basically having a dedicated team of engineering and basically the time to basically work on all the things that need to happen. And already, we started on this a bit naively, thinking the problem was really just about having nice looking websites, and realized from the long tail of questions that it's not about the website at all. It's kind of a requirement, but the thing is far more about the kind of bundle services that go together and that customers cannot go to with state-of-the-art services if we don't basically do that part of the job first. So
credit to that dedicated engineering team too.
Yes. Great. And maybe this is a quick follow-up for PC, and you can punt if you want, but so I made an investment. I guess if there are newer people on the call, Hospitable allows you to invest. is that still, I see this like, again, as an outsider, I'm an investor. I've made a couple additional, investments in, like I see the direct being a game changer for the company. So I guess I was just curious, are you still seeking customer investments, or at what point does that turn off? Because it seems like there might be a window, I think that's going to be a nice revenue windfall for the company from what I can see.
Yes. I kind of want to say yes and leave it there. People can still invest. So, for example, I can see that there was a purchase agreement that was signed in like 3 minutes ago already. So that's nice to hear. So it's still something that is active. It's not capital that we need, and that's not something that's been the idea. It was more about sharing the rewards with our customers. So I kind of ironically, if I may say, our customers that are investing in our company maybe at one point will be the only customers that are making some money off Guesty, and that seems like a valuable proposition in its own right. It's making sure that our customers have the same kind of alignment as we do, extracting the value from our product and helping us save time. I do firmly believe that it would require some adjustments. Right now, you can invest into Hospitable, a company that has passed recently $5 million ARR. So that is already on a track of growing its revenue 90% per year without it being easy at all. I do believe that investing at $20 million valuation, even if the market is really tough right now, it's probably a little bit very generous on the investor side, and I think in any case we'll be reaching out to basically have the valuation increase in the next few weeks or months in any case. For us, we kind of discussed that internally. We believe we can, based on the existing scope of the product, reach $8 million for this year, but direct in its own right is a business that we foresee could generate $10 million of income for our own business. So throwing a few numbers out there, please don't keep me accountable. It will be a very fun TikTok in a few years. But that's basically the kind of ambition that we're having, and we think that's also solving genuine customers' problem and still distributing a lot of the dividend of those features to our customers. We're going to be able to make more money. We're going to be able to be more affordable with their guests, and are going to be able to run their operations without still saving some of that time. So yeah, you can. Thank you, Derek, for the shout. I still believe you can invest if you like the token. You can, and other people that are not yet in the loop on this can create their account and sign up on invest.hospitable.com. Thank you, Vera, for sharing the link. I still believe that basically the valuation of the company that you can invest in is very different than the real value of the company. If we were any other company or any VC-backed company, the valuation would be an order of magnitude greater. I don't know what you think, Derek. May I have lost him? That's probably is a good time to lose him. After
you
saying an order
enough.
of magnitude. Yeah, it's basically rushing to invest. Thank you, Derek. And next, Miles.
Yeah, so we just have one more person, and maybe our last one, just looking at the time for the day. So Lauren has dropped off, actually. So maybe we've answered Lauren's question, just as I went to invite on stage.
Okay.
So if anyone else has a question, so Tommy has actually come back.
Tommy
so
again.
Maybe Tommy, looking to
asking
ask
for a second.
question.
Hello, Tommy.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, thanks for having me back. Just one other question, and it was in regards to the smart messages. So sometimes that can detect a false positive, and I'm just wondering, as far as improving that engine, is there any use of Chat GPT being considered into that, or other ways of maybe improving it?
Sure. Yeah, we just replied to you, or I did just reply to Tommy in the chat.
Oh, did you? Oh, excellent.
Yeah, we're actually in the process of improving the training for the questions. It's not using GPT at the moment. That's probably not needed to solve it. We have not done the kind of maintenance and training on that questions in a while. So give us a week, maybe 2 weeks max. Alyssa is going to take a look at the questions for you and really improve the accuracy and the efficiency of those. I think we're going to have some new codes available. So yeah, stay tuned for some positive updates there.
Awesome. Good to know. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming back, Tommy. So at the moment, yeah, we don't have anyone else in the queue with a hand raised. So, last chance, folks. We're going to end the session in about 8 minutes. So any questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A.
Yeah, you can still send your
raise your
questions
hand.
on the Q&A and we can have time for one question live. I just wanted to basically have a little bit of a summary of everything that we talked about because I'm sorry, but we're going through major updates at lightning speed in this team, and that means we're not giving it proper attention. So yes, that's my little feature. But basically, we now have a private pilot with ChatGPT, so you get a bit of a demo. We're having that at a private pilot, and we are basically going to allow you to draft a reply to any message that has been sent by your guest on any subject based on the current context of your conversation and the data from your listing, for example. Direct is moving very fast and solving challenges that we did not anticipate. That's why we're having those private pilots, those soft openings, to be able to anticipate problems before we go on a full release at scale across a new 10,000 customers. That's the threshold that we have been working on reaching for quite some time now. So yeah, Andrew is spending a lot of time working on taxes and making sure that when you push your listings live, we'll be collecting the right amount of taxes and all the amount of taxes that are due. We have already delivered more markup rates, better calendar updates for your direct booking websites. And yeah, we are working now on new cancellation policies and launching a direct premium or merchant of record offering in Australia, where that's going to be the second country we're going to be launching. So for your friends down, for our friends down under, we're looking forward to basically securing those bookings for New Year's Eve in Sydney, something that I believe everyone should do once in their life. Turno, so that's a partnership, an excellent partnership that we've been having with their management and with their teams. So Turno has agreed to waive their fees for their SaaS subscription. If you are using Turno, that means you will no longer pay for the SaaS subscription. If you are not using Turno yet, we strongly invite you to go into our product, go to my.hospitable.com/Turno, and we basically be offering a direct link to sign up and have a one-click install with your API keys. I'm very excited about something that we're going to be releasing in beta in the next few hours, and that's basically those backup codes. So we are aware obviously of the difficulty that comes into not being able to announce the right code to your guest if there is a failure to provision for a long list of reasons that can be going from Wi-Fi to humidity to energy problems and whatnot. So we are going to be creating backup codes, and whenever they are being used, we'll be recycling them and creating new backup codes at a later point in time. And that basically will make sure that at every single point in time, you can trust our integration and your guests will be able to enter at the right time every time, and especially solving any problems and hurdles that you may go through in dealing with your smart locks. So it's a very busy time for us at Hospitable. Obviously, on top of that, there is the usual company thing. So we're recruiting new people, we're recruiting recruiters, those recruiters recruit new people, and we're going to recruit more recruiters. It never ends. And yeah, the major update, obviously, that I wanted to share with you is that we're taking steps right now to obviously improve our support situation and be more responsive in live chat for any question that you might have and be able to uncover more value. And one way we're doing this at scale is with this fantastic new event next Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific time. That's going to be on Zoom as well with the Hospita Buddies with Tanai from Texas. I know she's not from Texas. She's from Texas actually, but in Texas, and on Ethan in Australia. we will be Ethan, who is a host and a property manager and customer of Hospitable for quite some time now, also working customer support, both of them. And so to answer any questions and help you on board and get those hidden insights. So yeah, I don't think we have anyone new, any new questions. So let's call it early, Miles, and go back to work. Not that this was work, but we can go back to coding, speccing, calling, and ticketing.
Great. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. We will be back for another town hall in 2 weeks. As Pierre has already shouted out, there's a couple of events that we have on next week as well. I've dropped a link to those in the chat. If you want to watch any of this back, we will post this to YouTube, where you'll be able to kind of go and watch the full recording there. And I think that's all, folks. Thank you very much for joining, and we'll see you all soon.